Hey everyone, the April Fool's update dropped a few days ago and I finally got all the new white bags, well, most of them anyway. I'll be showing you guys what each white bag does and giving my own opinion on them. They made a white bag ability for each class and all of the abilities drop from minions in white bags, so don't forget to hit the minions. The Omni Impotence ring drops from the last boss in an orange bag. Let's start off with the mirror cloak. The cloak gives you invisibility for 7 seconds with an extra second of cooldown. Some of you might think this is the best cloak ever, but don't let it fool you. The cloak also creates a mirror clone that follows you, so unless you want to get constantly anti-rogued by your own clone, I suggest not using this rogue to rush. This is me rushing an undead lair to give you an idea of what would happen if you use this cloak. As you can see, the clone activates enemies and drags them towards you. It would be very dangerous trying to rush shatters or tomb with this cloak. The next item is the Honey Scepter Supreme. It transforms you into a Honey Scepter Acolyte for a minute. What is a Honey Scepter Acolyte exactly? Well, this is it. It looks like someone cut off your head and stuck a honey scepter there instead. On the other hand, it deals 100 damage to up to 15 enemies each time you use the scepter. This scepter could be useful against large group of minions, that is if you want to look like a honey scepter all the time. Moving on, we have the Karma Orb up next. The sprites on the orb looks pretty nice and the orb has the same color as a white bag. The orb stasises enemies for 6 seconds, same as a tier 6 orb, but the orb also petrifies you for 6 seconds. So unless you want to be left behind in a full skip void or get destroyed by other enemies when you are petrified, I suggest just using this orb to make your mystic set look nicer. I mean, look at this, who would want to use this orb? Next up, we have the Challenger Helm. The sprites on this helm looks nicer than any tiered helms in my opinion, but this helm is basically useless unless using it to, again, make your set look nicer. The helm dazes and slows you down instead of berserking and speeding you up. Who wouldn't want to get slowed and daze, am I right? Also, the helm basically has no cooldown, so you can be dazed and slowed forever if your pet is good enough. The next white bag will be the quiver. It's called the Rotmg because the shots act like a boomerang. This is the only white bag that I didn't get. This quiver is one of the few white bags that actually have some kind of use. It shoots out 5 shots that passes through enemies and comes back to you. You can slow or paralyze big groups of enemies. Oh look! A candy gnome! Back to what I was saying, the quiver works well against large groups of enemies, but take note that the effect only lasts 2 seconds. Next in line, we have the most useless seal in existence. Also, my Arya turned into a chocolate cream cookie. The seal energizes only you for 5 seconds, using up a 100 MP with a 5-second cooldown. Wanna know what this does? It basically gives you back your 100 MP after 5 seconds, wasting your time. You can't see the full uselessness of the seal here because of my pet, but trust me, you do not want to use this seal. This seal doesn't even look good. So you are better off feeding this seal to your pet or throwing it onto the ground and never picking it up ever again. Unlike the seal, we have a pretty cool item in line. The item is called the Epiphany Skull, which apparently summons a mind minion to enlighten your foes. Cool as it might sound, the minions actually does nothing much except look cute to your enemies so your enemies won't kill you? Maybe. I can't really show you the max minions you can spawn with this skull cause I don't have a level 20 necro. But I've seen people spawn about 5 to 6 minions at once. The minions disappear after a few seconds and they do absolutely no damage to enemies. Moving on, we have the spelling spell. It shoots out 26 shots. 1 for each alphabet, which is more than most spells in game. The shots deal 10 to 100 damage each. increasing with your character's stats. Surprisingly, this spell only costs 26 mana to use. You can spam it at enemies and can rack up quite a significant amount of damage. The next item has one of the coolest looking attack sprite. The lightning in a bottle is a poison which summons lightning from the sky and deal 300 damage to the enemy, stasising them for 1.8 seconds. Sadly, a level 1 assassin doesn't have enough mana to use the poison. Be right back while I level up this assassin.
2,000 years later.
I finally finished leveling up, and this is what the shots look like. You get to be Colittle himself when you use this poison. This poison is so amazing that it even impressed a random guy. The downside is you can only use this poison in the realm and not in dungeons. We have the Helium trap next. It deals 1000 damage within one tile and activates almost instantly, although it does take 15 seconds for the trap to actually land on the ground. Let me visualize that for you. As you can see, it takes pretty long for the trap to actually hit the enemy, and you have to be very precise, otherwise you will miss. This trap is only viable if you have godly timing skills, otherwise you can just use it to troll your friends, making them wonder what the red thing floating in the air is. Next up we have another fun item, introducing the NSF Walkie. The Walkie exposes both you and your enemy one tile away and doesn't deal any damage, and when I mean it exposes you, I mean it literally exposes you. The Walkie shoots an eggplant at you, stripping you of your clothes in a split second. The eggplant that exposes, and oh look at that, you can see his butt cheeks. Back to what I was saying, the eggplant comes directly at you. This makes aiming it at the enemy easier if you want to scare them off with your naked body. Moving on to the next whitebag, we are looking at the Shuriken. The Shuriken deals a massive 1000 damage at one range when you shoot it at enemies. The Shuriken will come back to you after you shoot it, just like a boomerang. But do note that when you hold down your spacebar, it confuses you instead of speeding you up like most of the other ninja stars. I guess it could be a good way to practice your confuse control, but I don't think this ninja star is that useful compared to other stars. Moving on to the Tome of Moral Support. The tome allows you to greatly encourage allies by supporting them, but the healing part, that they have to do themselves and rely on their own pets. This tome is actually amazing, and you can use this just to mess with others. Here is me using it during a lava walk. Next up is the Shield of Pogmore. This is one of my favorite items in this update, as it fills the empty void in my heart because I don't have a real Ogmore. It actually armor breaks enemies, but only for 0.5 seconds and at a measly range of 0.75 tiles. Also respect to the people who designed the shot sprites of this shield. I mean, just look at this. You have to basically stand on top of enemies to armor break them, but that doesn't stop me from using it. Now, get ready for the most powerful item added in this update. Do you even know how much power this item grants the holder? That's right, infinite power. The Fool's Prism literally spawns a fake white bag on top of your cursor. Remember those fake white bags that you could obtain during the Carnival update? Well, throw that shit away. With the Fool's Prism, you have an unlimited supply of fake white bags at your service. This prism is so powerful it even makes the sound a bag drops when you use it, but even powerful items have a downside. The prism has a cooldown of a minute, so you can't spam like 100 white bags in a dungeon. Watch me fool this guy. Never mind, he didn't see it. Here is my second victim. You should aim for this white bag as it is the best one so far. Also, they brought back cheater armors which takes away 100 HP from your character. Before we get to the last item, take note that a chest has a small chance to spawn at the end of every machine dungeon you complete. Destroying the chest will give you a random mystery skin. The skin is just a question mark on the character. Every class has their own skin. Last but not least, we have the Omni Impotence ring. The ring does everything an Omni does but opposite. Also, if you equip the whole set from Machine, which is the weapon from Machine boss, abilities and cheater armors from minions, and the Omni Impotence ring from the last boss, your health will drop to almost zero. If you're using a rogue class, your health will drop to 0. And if you use the correct dyes, you can be a solid block of whatever color you desire. That's all from me in this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you found this video helpful. Have a great day ahead.